Believe it or not, you're looking at one of the first video games ever created. Over many years, we've vastly improved the quality of this medium since its inception. Video games used to be something you just played at an arcade to have a fun time. But today, they're mostly also for just having a fun time. But the advancement in technology has turned them from mere computer programs to be an art form that's able to rival that of film and other media.
Make me feel it. Make me feel alive again.
As such, with other media, video games aren't flawless. In fact, they suffer from a lot of the same issues that advertising and film do. For today, I want to focus on sexualization and body imagery in video games. Sexualization, particularly towards women, is another common trait we see in a lot of video games. What do I mean by this? I mean more particularly characters that were designed through that of the male gaze.
Between each level, you see your girlfriend begging you to rescue her, and each time, her clothes gradually disappear. She says, "I've been here so long, my clothes are starting to rot." Seriously, that's the only explanation. I think she would die of starvation before her clothes would rot.
Several types of games use this, but a shining example of games that exemplify this tactic would be fighting games. Take a look at these female characters from several different fighting games. You'll probably notice that they aren't super heavily clothed like they probably should be during a fight, but rather are dressed for eye candy. While this poses a bit of a logistical problem, it also raises a problem of individuality. You see, when you look at a video game character, you can usually tell a little bit about who they are just by their appearance alone. Take a look at Kitana, Jade, and Mileena. Is there really anything about how they look that says something about them other than their sex appeal? Not really. That's not to say that men in fighting games also don't always appear ready for a fight either. But in contrast, they usually have a greater degree of variance that sets them apart from one another. And speaking of variances, just like advertisements, video games have also developed a knack for playing with body imagery. A lot of ads have been criticized for using unrealistically skinny figures to promote their ads. Turns out, video games do much of the same. A content analysis was done in 2009 where a realistic wireframe model was compared to several video game wireframes. What they found was that video game models had significantly larger heads, while having smaller chests, waists, and hips. In fact, many games in which you can pick your character offer little variety when it comes to body shape. Most female characters in video games are almost always the same shape, while male characters often have more variety, though there are some instances of males being proportioned ridiculously. As with almost every other form of media, their ideas are going to have an impact on how we interpret reality. And by emplacing harmful views into the heads of gamers, they might start believing those ideas with more exposure. And as we can see now, a lot more gamers with several hours of exposure are already numb to these ideas. It's also no secret that gaming's been a predominantly male field for a long time. These sorts of female stereotypes could also lead to an increase in harassment and alienation towards a female audience. A 2019 qualitative study showed that there was a seemingly lack of instrumental and social support regarding female gamers. So, have these issues for games changed at all since 2020? A little bit. Obviously, there do exist outliers. A good example of a change done right would be Mortal Kombat 10 and 11. Taking the criticism from the previous installment, NetherRealm Studios decided to make their female characters a lot less needlessly scandalous. There are still games with quite a wide reach that still have these problems within them today. This is an ad for SNK All-Star, a new mobile game. And yes, this was aired this year.
Hey, come on, come on!
Yeah. With all of this, am I trying to say that you shouldn't like video games that have these sorts of features in them? Not exactly. There's a lot more that goes into developing a video game than the design of their characters. What I'm saying is, it's okay to recognize and criticize these aspects, because like it or not, video games are part of our media now.